Welcome to Pod Me If You Can, I'm David Farrell. Today's film is from 1993. It's Gross Misconduct, starring Naomi Watts and Jimmy Smits.
Pod Me If You Can, movie reviews.
Justin Thorne, Jimmy Smits, is a successful, tenured philosophy teacher. He has a beautiful wife, 2 kids, and even plays the saxophone in a band. Everybody loves Justin, including his student Jennifer, played by Naomi Watts. When temptation becomes too much, and Justin gives in to Jennifer's advances, he's suddenly on trial for her rape. So when I saw the DVD case for this film, it said directed by George Miller, and I was very excited to find a George Miller film. It's unfortunately not that George Miller, but a reasonably successful director who shares the same name, and the film is set in Melbourne, Australia. To his credit, this George Miller does a great job with the pacing of this film, but only up until the point where Jimmy Smits' character has his affair. Leading up to it, it's great. There's tension, it's very psychological and keeps you guessing, but after he's succumbed to this temptation, it basically becomes a different film, a bit of a courtroom drama, and most of that tension is lost. Young Naomi Watts is a standout here. She's beautiful, and she keeps her Aussie accent. She does well in the seductive scenes too, asking Jimmy Smits' character to play with her. There's a medium amount of nudity from her, and I suspect a body double for some of the more full frontal shots. Full frontal shots are aplenty in this film. The middle of this film plays a bit like a softcore porno, so just be aware of that. Justin, played by Jimmy Smits, is constantly being asked about his fidelity, and I didn't like the immoral world that they sort of created here. His friends say to him, are you tempted? Have you slept with her? They're constantly asking, and, does he sleep around after 10 years of marriage? They all bet that he does. And he isn't at that point. Everybody just thinks he is. And even the students think he is. His colleagues tell him, why not just do it? Why fight it? Everyone thinks you're sleeping together anyway, and then you get to have the fun. She keeps a diary about her fantasies with him, writing all about, very lovingly, the times they spend together in her mind. But then when she's accused of rape, the diary's evidence. And wouldn't everyone question why it's written in such a loving tone? If he's doing something negative to her, the rape, and she's saying, he made me do it, he forced me to do it, he said he'd fail me if I didn't, then why is she writing about it all so lovingly, like nothing is ever questioned? Naomi Watts' character is also their babysitter, so you're doubling up on fantasies. You're getting your babysitter fantasies as well as your student-teacher fantasies here. When Jimmy Smits plays the saxophone, I don't know if everyone will get this, but it really reminded me of Ron Burgundy playing jazz flute. And there's something very comical about it, just everybody watching him and just being like, yeah, such a smooth sound. For me, the film really falls down in the third act with this left-of-field reveal that just makes the film feel really unrealistic, and it's really hard to go with. There are many twists through the film, but this last one just felt like the straw that breaks the camel's back, and you just kind of want to wash your hands of the film, I think. It's got a really forgettable thriller score, and its appeal is basically to see young Naomi Watts. There is one scene of her where she overacts, and it's when he says no to her in his office, and she thrashes about destroying all the furniture, and it's really overacted. And it did remind me a little bit of the scene in Fight Club where Edward Norton's character is fighting with himself and smashes the coffee table. But here it was just like unconvincing, and I was just like rolling my eyes at that point. Jimmy Smits' friend in the film is played by Alan Fletcher, who many would know as Dr. Carl from Neighbours. And he does get the iconic Australian line, "It's colder than a witch's tit out here." You might enjoy this if you're a Jimmy Smits fan, or if you like the appeal of an American in Australia, the kind of fish out of water story. But you'll certainly want to check this one out if you're a Naomi Watts fan, and you want to see her in one of her first film roles.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Check out our podcast at www.podmeifyoucan.com.